Bhagwan has been trying to explain to Arjun what is this self. You are saying self, but what is this self? It's not so easy to understand self. Okay, I am the self, but what is that self? Now, unfortunately, there is no definition of self. Why?
Beyond the mind.
It's beyond the mind. Self was there before mind got created. Therefore, mind cannot describe the self. So, all we can do is give indications. For example, if I want to point out to the moon, you don't know what is moon. Then I can use my finger and point to the moon. And with the help of my finger, you'll see that direction and you'll look at the moon. My finger is not holding the moon. It is only indicating to you where the moon is. So what these rishis did is they tried to find some indicators to help you understand what is that self. So there is no definition of self. There is no description of self. What the Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures give are only indicators, indications of what is the self. And so far, can you tell me what indications Bhagwan Krishna has given Arjun? Tell me up to verse 19. Does not change. Immutable. Permanent. Pervades everything. Nitya. Avinashi. Apramesya. Immeasurable.
And also doesn't fade.
Doesn't fade. Exactly. So all these indicators are there, and verse by verse, he is giving us one more indication. It's like one big jigsaw puzzle that is coming together with one piece of the jigsaw puzzle, or like a painter. First, if you see in some music shows, they have the music going on, and during the music is going on, there is a painter who's doing live painting. So first he does some strokes, you don't know what that is, and then slowly he fills it up, and then before the piece is over, the whole painting is there. So exactly like that, Bhagwan is putting strokes here and there, and by the end of chapter 2, hopefully, the whole picture will be clear. So let's go to verse number 20. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूय अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Bindu, read.
The soul is never born, nor it ever dies, nor does it become after being born. For it is unborn, eternal, everlasting, and primeval. Even though the body is slain, the soul is not.
Clear. Ajaha, never born, not born. Okay, let's go word by word. I am this soul. Na jayate is not born. Va, nor. Mriyate, dies. This soul is not born nor dies. Kadachit, at any time. Sanskrit is a language which is not written in the same grammatical sequence as English. Therefore, if I give you over here word by word, it will be more obscure. That's why I'm giving you the meanings in the way we say it in English. Okay? Na ayam, nor the soul, bhutva, having once existed, bhavita, will be, Va or na, not be, bhuya, in the future. So up till here, it says the soul is not born, nor does the soul die at any time. Never is it happening that the soul is getting born or the soul is dying. Neither also, meaning also remember, the soul is not becoming anything, nor will it become anything in the future. So neither it is anything happening in the past, nor is it happening anything in the future, means it's timeless, it's eternal. Now he says, I am this soul, ajaha, is unborn. See, only if something is born it can die, right? But this soul is ajaha, it's unborn. What else is it? Nitya, eternal. What else is it? Shashvato, immortal, unchanging. And one more thing, Purana, ancient, from the beginning of time. And based on all these things, Bhagavan Krishna is giving the conclusion, therefore, which is not written there, Sharire, when the body, Hanyamane, is destroyed, Na hanyate, it is not destroyed. When the body is destroyed, it is not destroyed. What is not destroyed?
The soul.
Soul, Atma. So again and again and again and again, verse after verse, verse after verse, verse after verse, the same thing is being told in different ways so that Arjun can finally get it. So what gets destroyed, what changes, what is impermanent? Body. The body undergoes 6 modifications or 6 changes. I'll tell you the Sanskrit words also and I'll tell you the English words also. First is Asti. Then go to the next line. Jayate. Right below so I can give you the English word later. Asti, Jayate, Vardate. Vardate. Viparinimate. Viparinamate. Apakshiyate. Apakshiyate. And last one, Vinashyati. Vinashyati. Asti means existent in material form before birth. Existence in material form before birth. See, before birth, you existed or not?
Yes.
Where?
In some of the life.
In the womb. Before the womb.
The seed.
In the seed. Before the seed.
Plant.
In the food. Before the food.
Plant.
Plant. Before the plant.
Soil.
Soil. Like that. Continuously you have existed in some material form before birth. That is Asti. Jayate. Then what happened? You were born, correct. Jayate means you were born. So when you were born, you got another form, right? Then after you were born, what happened? You grew. Vardate, you grew. Growth. When you grew, you are looking different from when you were a baby. See, we had Adish came in small little thing. Then after some time, you will look like Jayesh, no? So you will form has changed like that. Then what happens after that? After you grow, what happens?
Decay.
Before decay, some modifications start happening, undergo some changes. Then when you start reaching my age, what start happening? Decay. Decay. Fifth one is decay. And last one is obviously death. So these are the 6 changes. These 6 changes are happening to what?
Body.
To the body. Also to the mind and intellect. Also to the mind and intellect. But not to the soul. Not to the Atma. In Kathopanishad, there is another verse which is also saying almost exactly the same thing. I will tell you the English thing. It says, the soul is not born, nor does it die. It did not spring from something. It's always there. It did not come from something. And nothing sprang from it. It's not something from which things grow. It is itself. We think that there's a soul and then something comes out. There's one God and then something comes out of it. No. Everything is that only. It is unborn. Same words. Eternal. Immortal. Ageless. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. So almost the same words as in this verse. So what are the new indicators here in this verse? Can you tell me from the before what Bhagwan said and this verse? What are the new indicators?
Eternal.
Ajaha, unborn. Ajaha. Then Nitya already has come before. Shashvata also has come before in another word. And what is the next one? Ancient. So Aja and Purana are the 2 new pieces of the jigsaw puzzle which are being added. So I was listening to one pravachan and I liked this example a lot. So I wrote it down. So let's think, right now we are over here in this class. So before we were in this class, where were we? At home. At home. Before home, office. Before office, somewhere, train, taxi, cab, car. Before that, maybe in a meeting. Before that, maybe in a party. Before that, maybe in a club. Maybe before in some restaurant. So what has been happening everywhere, our surroundings have kept changing, right or not? But we are the same. What has happened is our surrounding has gone on changing, but we are exactly the same. The same thing happens to us from lifetime to lifetime. In one life, we have one surrounding. In the next life, we have another surrounding. It's like we have gone from home, then we have gone to office, then another surrounding, maybe discotheque, then in another surrounding, maybe train or car. But who is everywhere in all these different surroundings? The same, right? So there was never a time when you were not there. In all these surroundings, I was not there. So the I has remained the same, the surroundings have kept changing. And that is what every lifetime is. It's just one surrounding goes on changing. It's easy to understand, right? Now, we can say that this class started at 9 and hopefully will finish by, I don't know, whatever, 11, 12, whatever. So before 9, you can say that there was an absence of class. Yes or no? There was an absence of class before 9. Now I am asking you a question. Can you experience any time where there has been an absence of yourself? You cannot think of any time where there has not been an absence of yourself. There's not been any time when you did not exist, right? How come?
Sleep.
But still you are experiencing that. That is why when you wake up, you say, I had a good sleep. If you were not present, if you were absent at that time, you would not know whether you had a good sleep or not. So even though your mind doesn't know it, your body may not know it, but I knows that I have had a good sleep. So even in deep sleep, you cannot say that you were absent. Correct? So there has never been a time when you have not existed. So even in sleep, you don't know anything, but when you wake up, you know that you have slept. Similarly, you have never ever not existed even before this lifetime in this body. You have always existed, but in a different container, in a different environment. You have always been there. And there will never be a time when you will not be there. Even when this body dissolves, even when you get moksha, you will go back to your original self. You are not going and merging into something else. You are becoming yourself. That's it. That is who you are. So what do we have to achieve or attain to reach that stage? We have to get free from 3 bodies. We have to get free from 3 bodies. Which are these 3 bodies? The gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. Gross body is called sthul sharir. What is it made up of? Food energy. What keeps it alive? Food energy. Subtle body is called Sukshma Sharir. What is it made up of? Thought energy. Causal body is called Karan Sharir because it's the Karan for your birth. And it is made up of Vasana energy. Now mostly when we say I, we are identifying with these 3 bodies. With these 3 bodies, we are identifying with our food body, we are identifying with our thought body, and we are identifying with our vasana body or our desires. If you add these 3 things together, body, mind, intellect, and our concept of who I am based on body, mind, intellect, that makes up your personality. That's your personality. And if you were to open up and analyze what is this personality, you will come to the conclusion it is nothing but the sanskars you are collecting over lifetimes. All the sanskars you have been collecting from all your previous lifetimes is what's making you what you are today. So at death, what actually happens? The gross body, physical body, sthul sharir is destroyed. It's gone. But the subtle body and the causal body, sukshma sharir and karan sharir, they remain held together as if attached to the Atma. And they are held together because of what? Your karmas and your vasanas. Because of your karmas and your vasanas, these two bodies go along with the Atma. So if you want to be free, what you have to do? Remove the karmas and the vasanas. These two things, if you remove, you are going to be free. So karmas and vasanas, along with the sukshma sharir and karan sharir, they are going along with the Atma. Now what happens? Wearing these, as if they are wearing like clothes, wearing these two bodies, the Atma repeatedly reincarnates, taking one new gross body, one new physical form, in the hope of getting rid of these two bodies. They want to get rid of this karma, they want to get rid of this vasana, so they keep, and you can only get rid of it where? In human body, not even in any animal body. Only in human body you can get rid of your karmas and vasanas. So repeatedly one takes birth. Chalo, nikalo. But unfortunately, instead of nikalo, we go on adding more because we don't know the technique of nikalo. So someone asked, how come I have taken one new body completely, and how all these sanskars are getting transferred from one lifetime to another lifetime? So they gave a very nice example. If you buy a new mobile phone, okay, but you are going to put your same chip inside, na? Purane phone mein se nikalo, you put your chip inside. Then as soon as you put your chip inside, what happens? All the contacts get into the new phone. All your WhatsApp, encyclopedia gyan gets downloaded. All your messages, everything goes from the old to the new. That's how we are putting this chip is going into another handset. That's it. Now I want to get rid of all this phone bill and all. I throw the old phone away. If I throw the old phone away, the bill will still come, no, to the new phone. I cannot get rid of the bill. It will still come to the new phone because the chip is the same, it's coming to the phone number. Similarly, all your karmas of your past life, they are coming where? To the body. They are not coming to the body, they are coming to the mind. Because the chip is coming to the sukshmat sharir, not to the gross body is new. So all your karma phal of all your past karmas of past life, they are all traveling through the subtle body into the mind of the new body. Nice, no? I also liked it. So the lifespan of the physical body into which you have incarnated, right? That lifespan is dictated by the law of karma. You know we have 3 kinds of karmas, right? Prarabdha, then Agami and Sanchit. So Prarabdha is that amount of karma which is going to become ripe for this particular lifetime. When Prarabdha is over, body drops. There is nothing more to be done. It is as simple as that. The minute Prarabdha karma is over, there is nothing you can do 1 minute here or there, neither early nor late. Prarabdha khatam, body khatam. That's it.
Prarabdha for this lifetime.
Prarabdha of this life. Prarabdha is always for a particular lifetime. So that is lifespan of the physical body. Sukshma Sharir and Karan Sharir are still going on. So what is the lifespan of that? Sukshma Sharir and Karan Sharir. Huh? When karmas and vasanas are over. Karma, vasana gaya, Sukshma Sharir, Karan Sharir gaya. Finished.
That is only when moksha.
That is when you have self and realization. Moksha happen, not happen, we don't know.
Okay.
Our goal should be to understand Aham Brahmasmi,
Self-realization.
self-realization.
When self-realization happens, the stool sharir and the sukshma sharir and karan sharir
They drop means that you're still alive, so it's got to be there, but it's like, as I say, the snake without the venom. It has no power over you.
And Sanchit Karma and Agami is your past and your future.
Yeah.
So whatever you accumulate in this lifetime becomes your Agami Karma.
At the time of self-realization, prarabdha continues. Because it's already, the arrow has left the bow, it has to keep going. But all your past accumulated karmas dissolve at that time. And since you are in self-realization, you will not do any more actions which will incur further karma.
So what you have accumulated in this lifetime is also considered as
Dissolve.
past.
Dissolved. Huh?
This is very good.
That much only. They were born only with that much prarabdha. It continues. See, you're talking about babies who die at a young age, right? So for some reason, from a previous lifetime, they were born, they decided to be born again for maybe there may be 2 or 3, we don't know also from where we are sitting, our intellect cannot conceive that or rationalize, but you can conjecture. It could be that child who was born just needed to get over one particular thing. So it took birth, finished that rin, and has got liberated. Or it could also be that little child decided, I just want to go for a little while, the soul decided, just finish something, then I'll deal with the other. How we procrastinate, I'll do tomorrow. So that soul may have decided, I'll finish this much only, then I will decide next lifetime, I will get rid of the next. There's a third option also. The third option which has just occurred to me is that the soul decides to enter the world through a particular gateway, you can say, in which its vasanas can be fulfilled. So it chooses geographically and historically the environment in which it takes birth. But for 1 year, that means till the child can speak clearly, it has a return visa. It finds that this environment is not suitable for me, it can decide to go back and try again. So these are the 3 options I can think of with my limited intelligence. There may be definitely some more
So
things out there. Huh?
Change his mind and then
Changed his mind, yeah. Changed his mind, God knows, whatever. So, all desires need to be conquered and all karmas need to be exhausted, and then you can merge with the Supreme Self. And that is what Vedanta is teaching us. And that is what this verse also has told us. That the soul is not born, nor it ever dies, nor it becomes anything on being born, because it is ajaha, it is unborn, it is eternal, nitya, it is everlasting, shashvata, and it is primeval from beginning of time, purana. Let's go to the next verse.
You said desire has to be
Conquered. Conquered through understanding. Huh? Transcended. If you try to suppress it, it will explode like a volcano.
And if you indulge, it will multiply.
If you indulge, it will become much stronger. We think that by fulfilling a desire, we are getting rid of it. Actually, by fulfilling a desire, what you're actually doing is you're strengthening, because your brain or your mind or whatever is getting the feedback, I did this, I got pleasure, so therefore if I do more of this, I will get more pleasure. Simple logic. Number 20.